let's talk Patrick Mahomes. For the record, he's now just 3-2 in Super Bowls. And Tom Brady lost 3 of them by a total combined 15 points. Patrick Mahomes has lost 2, and the point differential is minus 40. And he has trailed in all 5 Super Bowls. And what really disappointed me, he never manipulated the game. He got rattled and frustrated, taken out of his game, and had no second pitch. Tom Brady always found ways, even when he had the second best roster in a Super Bowl, he found ways at the line of scrimmage to manipulate a defense, move the chains, at least be viable in field position. Anybody can win, let's be honest, with a full house or pocket aces. Can you win when you got a pair of 7s? And I felt multiple times in AFC championships or Super Bowls that Brady actually had the second best roster and had to massage it and manipulate it and move the chains with his pre-snap excellence. With Mahomes, 2 weeks to prepare with Andy Reid, it feels like they had no second pitch. And his special secret power has always been his legs. And once Philadelphia took that away, there was nothing else there. I don't remember Tom ever trailing 34-0 in any game. And in the one Super Bowl where Brady was getting rolled 28-3, he came back to win again. Brady had bad plays, bad quarters, a bad half, bad moments. This was just awful. In fact, Brady's biggest Super Bowl loss was that one possession game to the Eagles in which they never punted. So before we get into that silly GOAT conversation, know that Brady's superpower was the ability when he had the second best roster. And we never thought, New England constantly, do your job. It's about the team. They moved off really good players. They didn't have a stacked roster. The Randy Moss team felt a little stacked offensively, and they never won a ring. But the early Brady and the late Brady and the Tampa Brady was about manipulation, line of scrimmage, moving the chains, often when you had an offensive line that was struggling or under duress or was being overwhelmed. 2 weeks with Andy Reid, I didn't even feel like I got a second pitch. You don't always get a full house. Brady has never been that bad in a big game. And at least when he struggled, and he had pick sixes in Super Bowls, you felt there was a sense he was getting the most out of his roster. If you look at the clear stats now of Mahomes and Brady in Super Bowls, let's be totally honest about this. Brady is elite. Patrick's passer rating is mid-80s. That's what it is. 86.9. 10 touchdowns, 7 picks. That's with 2 weeks to prepare, and that's with Andy Reid. And again, nobody's denying Philadelphia is stacked. Go ask Peyton Manning about that Seattle defense. But what's interesting is Brady faced that Seattle defense too. And he just kept manipulating and manipulating and manipulating. And he trailed, and he was behind, and it looked like trouble. But Brady found a way to just get first downs, eat the clock, find your little weaknesses, the tiny little crevices against the Seahawks. All Brady had was a pair of 7 against him. That's all he had, and he just put his team in a position to win. Yes, he had to rely on Malcolm Butler, but he put his team in position to win.
Yeah. I hear what Colin is saying, because, let's face it, Tom Brady did play better against the Seattle Seahawks than Patrick Mahomes played against the Philadelphia Eagles. And it goes without saying that Tom Brady has never had a loss like Patrick Mahomes has had, and yet he's now done twice. That is a real thing. That is a real thing, but I just don't think it's fair. Because literally last week, Colin said that Patrick Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of the NFL. That this three-peat is essentially inevitable. And people were fully on board that if Patrick Mahomes won this Super Bowl, he's the GOAT. And that the Kansas City Chiefs, that this is the greatest team in NFL history. Now, I'm the one that pushed back on that. And now that he loses, everyone's like, oh, the silly GOAT talker. Can we stop talking about the GOAT? And it's just like, you guys are the ones that were all having this conversation. It was you. And I'm the one that said it doesn't matter if they three-peat. That if Patrick Mahomes wins next season, it's just as impressive to me. And I'm going to keep saying that again and again and again because now that they lost, like that take has aged beautifully. I'm literally telling Patrick Mahomes fans, like, it's all good. He's still special. But a loss like this is a bad loss. And you can't just say, well, the Philadelphia Eagles are this great team. Because how's that fair? You said that the Kansas City Chiefs were the best team. They were favored to win. It's Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Spags. The Kansas City Chiefs have an awesome defense. Like, that's the thing. The Kansas City Chiefs have an awesome defense. Jalen Hurts played great. There was times for Patrick Mahomes to make plays, and he did not. I pointed this out now many times. I mean, there was many times that Patrick Mahomes could have made plays, and he did not. He threw multiple interceptions. He tried to rip off a run, and he got tied up and got tackled. Whereas Jalen Hurts made throws on the run for first downs, for big 20-yard gains. Took off with his legs for 20-yard gains multiple times, picking up first downs. That was when the pressure was getting to him too. That was when it was like, oh no, can he escape the pressure? And he did. You know, Jalen Hurts was able to. Patrick Mahomes was not. So Patrick Mahomes absolutely deserves blame. But at the end of the day, he went up against a better team, the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I believed going into this game. But Kansas City Chiefs fans, Patrick Mahomes fans, you can't change your tune. You can't say that the Kansas City Chiefs were the better team, that they're the best team, that this is one of the greatest teams ever. And then when they lose, you say, yeah, well, the Eagles were too good. That defense is awesome. It's like, but how are you saying that now? Because you didn't feel that way before. Now, I'm all for new information. I just don't trust a lot of you guys that are now like, well, you know what? I didn't think the Eagles' defense was as good as it was. I thought the Chiefs were a better team. But now that that game unfolded, I believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are a better team. I'm okay with that. But it feels like that's more like trying to have revisionist history. That's more, you know, Mahomes fans trying to cope with the loss. That's like finger pointing. Or you want to blame the O-line or Andy Reid now. And it's like, how does that make sense? You can't keep pointing fingers at someone else every time Patrick Mahomes loses. But then when he wins, he gets all the credit. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs defense doesn't get any credit for holding Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers to like 19 points or whatever it was. For holding the Kansas City Chiefs, for holding the Baltimore Ravens to 10 points. To containing Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills both years. You know what I mean? Like, those things matter. Even against the Houston Texans. Travis Kelce being a yak monster. Like, again, when I pointed those things out, I got yelled at. And now here, when the Kansas City Chiefs lose, you want to blame other people. You can't have it both ways. And now this is going to be my other video. I don't know how many more videos like this I'm going to make, but you know, I may as well say it again. Because I still feel like I have to just grab Kansas City Chiefs fans. But now I'm gonna retire, you know, this statement at this point. Because Patrick Mahomes lost, obviously, and he did not play well. And this would be the perfect time for me to be smiling, for me to be like, that's right. You know, if I was a true Patrick Mahomes hater and a Kansas City Chiefs hater, again, I'd be dropping banners, I'd be laughing, I'd be telling jokes, I'd say Patrick Mahomes choked. You know, all the things that like Nick Wright does about Lamar Jackson and all of that. But instead, I'm kind of like defending it. I'm kind of like, well, he went up against the better team. Yeah, it wasn't good. He did not play good, but I don't expect him to be invincible because I never thought he was invincible. And that three-peat never meant anything to me. Like, it was not going to be, like I said, if they win next year, I'm like, yeah, man, they're just as great. They lost last year, whatever. Like, having 3 in a row just doesn't do anything for me. And again, I got ripped for that take. And now it helps Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But you do have to accept and reconcile that Patrick Mahomes has not played great in Super Bowls. Jalen Hurts now has played better in essentially every Super Bowl. He's now Jalen Hurts has now had 2 Super Bowl performances better than essentially every single one of Patrick Mahomes' performances, and they were against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I know Kansas City Chiefs believe in their defense. I know they believe in Spags. I mean, it's pretty impressive going up against Mahomes and Andy Reid. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't beat a team in the Super Bowl once, like the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, what does that say? It says something. It has to. It has to. And yeah, if you want to have these GOAT conversations, because people said if he three-peats, it's historic. No one has ever done it. Tom Brady never did it. That makes Patrick Mahomes the GOAT. Well, then if Patrick Mahomes has now lost 2 Super Bowls by a huge margin, getting rocked in both Super Bowls, something that never happened to Tom Brady, that has to go against Patrick Mahomes. It would have to. It would have to. If you're going to hold his wins and his victories, an overtime win, a comeback win for, in the fourth quarter, if you're going to do that, then you have to hold the failures as well. You have to hold the fact that he's got 7 interceptions in 5 Super Bowls. Tom Brady played 10 in 10 Super Bowls and has 6 interceptions. He already has less in half the Super Bowls. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. And his touchdown to interception ratio is 21-6. That's a real thing. He averages two touchdowns a game and a half an interception. I mean, Patrick Mahomes could legitimately have like 8 touchdowns and 7 interceptions if it wasn't for some of those garbage time points in this, against the Philadelphia Eagles, which they were garbage. I mean, Nick Sirianni was getting a Gatorade shower while the Kansas City Chiefs were scoring their touchdowns. I mean, that's a real thing. That's why stats and box scores are always misleading. I mean, that looks like, 21 for 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Patrick Mahomes now is yet to play a great Super Bowl start to finish. He doesn't have a single, in his 5 Super Bowls, he's never started the game start to finish and just played great. And this is when they were going for a three-peat. Everything was on the line here. And they knew it. And they simply failed. He simply failed. The Kansas City Chiefs simply failed. And I'm just so interested to hear how the Kansas City Chiefs reconcile with that. Do they blame Patrick Mahomes? Do they blame Andy Reid? Do they accept that their team was never as good as it really was? Or do they accept the Philadelphia Eagles were better? Or are you just going to say, well, they just had an off day? Like, where are you going to point the blame? I kept saying that I think the Kansas City Chiefs have better coaching, but the Philadelphia Eagles have the better roster. And the Philadelphia Eagles proved that they had the better roster. But you can't come at me all season long and rip me, call me a Patrick Mahomes doubter, a Kansas City Chiefs hater, which is just absolutely not true. Tell me how they're the best team, how they're guaranteed to get the three-peat, and that now they're going to four-peat, actually. And now when they lose, you say, oh, well, the O-line wasn't good. That doesn't make sense. That's not how this works. You can't have it both ways. You have to then admit something was wrong then, that the team was never that good. Or I shouldn't say not that good. The team was never as good as you maybe thought it was. Patrick Mahomes isn't as much of a hero as you thought he was. Or that the Philadelphia Eagles were significantly better than you thought they were. You have to admit some hard truth. And I'm genuinely curious. This is not trolling one bit. I'm genuinely curious. I'm genuinely asking Kansas City Chiefs fans and Mahomes fans. What is that hard truth? Because I'm not coming out here ripping Patrick Mahomes. Not once did I go rip Patrick Mahomes. I acknowledge some of the bad moments he's had. I acknowledge that Tom Brady has played better in Super Bowls. Those are just facts. Those are just facts. But I'm not out here being like, Patrick Mahomes is not that good. He's not good. He's trash. I'm not coming with that energy. I'm not. I'm not saying he failed to three-peat. He could never. Tom Brady's clearly the GOAT. Again, that's what a hater would do. That's what a biased person would do. I'm not doing any of that. I'm asking a genuine question. What hard truth are you accepting about the Kansas City Chiefs? That Patrick Mahomes wasn't as great and as unstoppable as you thought he was. That this team was never as good or as dominant as you thought it was. Or that the Philadelphia Eagles were significantly better than you were willing to give them credit for. There might be another option I just can't think of. I haven't slept. I'm filming this video. It's posted on Tuesday. It's 9:30 at night. No exaggeration. I have not slept at all. Not even for a second. Truly not even for a second. I watched the Super Bowl, did all that. Haven't slept. Been making videos, hanging out, talking, doing whatever. So if there's another option, please let me know. I think this is no. I think I got one more video to make, and then I'm done. And it'll probably be a slow day tomorrow, because that's why I wanted to make sure that I had some videos that I could post, and then I could just maybe sleep in, because who knows. But I really want to know. This is genuine questions. So please try your best to actually answer them and not just come at me and say that, I'm just an awful person. The only people that do that are the Kansas City Chiefs fans, mainly Patrick Mahomes fans. You guys think I hate him, even though I'm literally defending him. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes? How will this loss impact Patrick's legacy? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.